Hello, friends, welcome to this new episode on Indian cricket. You might be wondering on which player we are going to zoom in on today. Well, which batter or which bowler? Well, the answer to that query is simple, it's on Sai Sudarshan. He has been in great form, believe it or not, form in the ongoing IPL. So, what is his batting template? What is his technique? What is his method? How does he go about scoring so many runs without taking too many risks? And ahead of the England tour, let us also delve deeper to look at if there are any weaknesses or its temperament, its great temperament. That is, if Sudarshan gets selected for the test tour. So how is he able to generate so much power? That is something that we have to look at. Well, if you just zoom in on his bat lift, it goes behind his shoulder, so that is quite a high bat lift. That is one point. It's a solid base, but the key point to look at here is he doesn't lose the shape on his shots, so he doesn't lose the momentum on a particular shot, and that is how he's able to generate so much power. Even if you look at his wingspan or where that bat basically ends up and where it starts, you will see a considerable gap. Again, a clear indicator gives an inkling that he has a very high bat lift. But that is all fine. What about the fact that it takes so few risks and still is able to score so many runs? Then, in that context, you have to look at the number of boundaries he scored in this IPL. It stands at a whopping 68. Yes, 68 boundaries, 8 more than the next best. And that is again something that tells us it doesn't take too many risks and is willing to wait for the loose delivery. To exemplify the point further, just consider how he faced up to Natarajan in a game against Delhi Capitals. Every single time Natarajan bowled it down the leg side, Sudarshan took advantage of it. Basically, Natarajan bowled both sides of the wicket, and Sudarshan again took a full advantage of every loose delivery. So here is one of those batters who's willing to bide his time in order to wait for that one opportunity and crack a boundary or a six. I just talked about Sai Sudarshan scoring sixes. You might be thinking that he's not someone who will be at the top of the batting charts when it comes to hitting sixes. That is true. But it also has to be said that when he decides to go for the big shot for the six, then it usually stays hit. Once again, you have to combine both the points about him taking fewer risks and the kind of power that he generates with that bat lift. So that is about his template, his technique. What about his temperament? Well, for that, you have to look at or you have to dig deeper by looking at his domestic performances. You'll find a couple of very good performances in Dulip Trophy, one in Dulip Trophy, another one was it is 213 knock of 213. If you just excavate information from that Dulip Trophy game against India A, you will notice that how he played, especially the spinners. When Tanush Kotiyan bowled it a little shorter, he was using the depth of the crease to go right back or he would go right forward to a delivery that was bowled fuller in length. Once again, it tells us that he's someone who uses the depth of the crease really well, picks the length really well, and that is why he's able to do it. And it also tells us something about his temperament because he was willing to wait for that loose delivery in order to go right back and play the cut or the short arm jab. Then he also had a battle with Prasidh Krishna, the tall bowler. Whenever Prasidh bowled shorter in length, he was willing to defend, leave it on the angle, outside off. Yes, he eventually got out to a short ball from Prasidh, but until then he showed really good temperament. And when Prasidh went very full, angled across him, he brought out the cover drive or shots through the cover region. Something similar he did when he cracked that 213 in the Ranji Trophy. When the paces angled it away and bowled too full, he brought out the drive. Otherwise, he was willing to just of a lifted bat. That's about his temperament. But is there any weakness attached to his game? Well, that could be a couple of them. One is perhaps the cut stroke. Yes, it works in the IPL on tracks that are on the lower side or stay on the lower side. But when it goes to Sena countries, because it doesn't always ride on the bounce to against deliveries that are angled across him, he may face a problem or two when while playing that cut stroke. It may also be due to that kind of high bat lift. He generally plays it in the air, doesn't really go back and across to play that cut. A couple of examples we could see it in the game against Delhi Capitals only. Yes, someone like Shardul Thakur has gone the other way in the Ranji Trophy. That is, a couple of times, especially once, he looked to get taking down LBW and succeeded with Sudharsan not really loading up his back foot. But that can happen to batters up front, especially against the moving ball. Sometimes you don't get your footwork right. So perhaps we don't need to delve too much deep into how Shardul outfoxed him in the Ranji Trophy. So the final analysis would be: here is one cricketer who has great temperament, exemplary player of spin, picks the length really well. Maybe he has an issue or two against the googly, but on an overall basis, a very good player of spin. Is someone who takes fewer risks, but still able to score a lot of runs, and is one of those who has that kind of power because of his bat lift, despite having that bat down method, unlike some others who have a bat up method, and which basically gives them that leverage to generate power. So that is about Sai Sudarshan. Thank you. You also can subscribe to our YouTube channel Revsportz. We are covering all kinds of sports, not just cricket.